The Medici lions are a pair of marble sculptures of lions, one of which is of ancient origin, the other a 16th-century pendant. Both were by 1598 placed at the Villa Medici, Rome, and since 1789 have been displayed at the Loggia Lanzi, Florence. The sculptures depict standing male lions with a sphere or ball under one paw, looking to the side. The Medici lions have been copied, directly or with variations, in many other locations. History. A pair of lions were acquired by Ferdinando I Medici, Grand Duke of Tuscany, who had acquired the Villa Medici in 1576, to serve as majestic ornaments for the villa's garden staircase, the Loggia dei Leoni. The first lion originates from a 2nd-century marble that was first mentioned in 1594 by the sculptor Flaminio Vacca, by which time it was already in the collection of Ferdinando. Vacca reported that it had been found in the Via Prenestina, outside Porta San Lorenzo. According to Vacca, the lion had been a relief, which was carved free of its background and reworked by Giovanni Schierino, or Giovanni di Scerano Fancelli, of whom little is now known. The second was made and signed by Vacca, also in marble, as a pendant to the ancient sculpture at a date variously reported as between 1594 and 1598 or between 1570 and 1590. The pair were in place at the Loggia dei Leoni in 1598. The pendant was made from a capital that had come from the temple of Jupiter Optimus Maximus. The Villa Medici was inherited by the House of Lorraine in 1737, and in 1787 the lions were moved to Florence, and since 1789 they flank the steps to the Loggia dei Lanzi at the Piazza della Signoria. The sculptures were replaced by copies at the Villa Medici when Napoleon relocated the French Academy in Rome to the villa in 1803. These copies were made by the French sculptor Augustin Pajot. Copies. The original Medici lions are since 1789 standing at the Loggia dei Lanzi, Piazza della Signoria, Florence. There is smaller bronze-left-looking sculpture attributed to Italian sculptor Pietro da Barga and the same period. Later copies or replicas include Spain 12 sculptures in bronze by Matteo Bonicelli da Luca, commissioned in Rome by Velázquez from the Room of Mirrors at the Royal Alcazar of Madrid. 4 sculptures are now in the Salón del Trono in the Royal Palace of Madrid. 8 sculptures are now in the Museo del Prado, of which 4 support the tabletop of Rodrigo Calderón. Sculptures in Colmenar marble at the Montfort Gardens, Valencia by José Belva. Sculptures in marble at the Canaljas Park, Alicante. Sweden sculpture in bronze in the Royal Swedish Academy of Arts building, Stockholm. Sculpture in bronze at the Royal Institute of Art, Stockholm. Sculpture in bronze in Nacka, Stockholm. Britain sculptures in Leeds Stowe House attributed to John Cheer, formerly placed at Stanley Park, Blackpool. Sculpture in the Park of Kedleston Hall, carved by Joseph Wilton. 2 artificial stone versions are found in the garden of the Osborne House, Isle of Wight. Sculptures at the Stanley Park, Blackpool. These were produced by Rupert Harris Conservation, using casts from the former sculptures which were returned on loan to Stowe House in 2013. Sculptures in bronze at the Queen's Gate entrance to Royal Victoria Park in Bath, renovated in 2007 to include the ball under the paw. Produced around 1818, they were commissioned by Charles Geary Esq. for inclusion in the new Masonic Hall Hall in York Street, Bath, which was opened on the 23rd of September 1819 with great ceremony by the headmaster of England, the Duke of Sussex, attended by 800 to 1,000 Freemasons in full regalia. The Historic Guide to Bath 1864 records the event in details. The master's chair stood on a throne of black and white marble, supported by lions, the feet resting on bulls. The elaborate building immediately ran into financial trouble and soon closed. In 1842, Geary, having secured the debts and in order to pay them off, sold the hall to the Society of Friends, in whose care it remains, and the elaborate contents to Loyal Lodge No. 251, Barnstable, Devon, where they also remain to this day. The lions, however, did not make the trip, legend suggesting there was no cart available to transport them. They were, therefore, presented to the city and the same. The Historic Guide to Bath 1864 later records, at the side entrances, over the Queen's Gate, leading to the Royal Avenue, bronzed lions, presented by Mr. Geary. They were restored in 2007. Russia and Ukraine versions in St. Petersburg, Russia include the Lion Cascade in bronze at Peterhof Palace, sculptures in marble at the Lobanov-Rostovsky residence, sculptures in bronze at the staircase of the old Mikhailovsky Palace, sculptures at the entrance of Yelagin Palace, the lions at the Dvortsovaya Pier in bronze at the Admiralty Embankment. Versions in southern Russia and later Ukraine include sculptures in marble at the Vorontsov Palace, Odessa, 6 pairs of marble lion sculptures at the Vorontsov Palace, Crimea, pair of lion sculptures at Star-Uzhny Garden, Odessa. Italy, sculptures in marble by Augustin Paggi at the Villa Medici. Germany, 4 miniature versions surrounding the Akademie Lohenbrunnen in the Palace Garden, Stuttgart. 2 gilded versions as part of the Lion Fountain in front of Glienicke Palace, Berlin. Statues at the entrance of Schlossmann Repose, Ludwigsburg. Cuba, 2 versions outside the Cathedral de la Purísima Concepción in Cienfuegos, Cuba. United States, the Florentine lions in cast iron in the Fairmount Park, Philadelphia. Stone sculptures, Mickenmack at McMicken Hall, the University of Cincinnati, Ohio. The pair of lions on the western end of the eponymous Bridge of Lions in St. Augustine, Florida. Sculpture in limestone at the Museum of Outdoor Arts, Colorado. Estonia, the Swedish lion in bronze in Narva, Estonia. A version of one of the Slottshonen was first erected in 1936 but destroyed 1944 during the German occupation. A sized-down copy of the Medici lion in the Royal Swedish Academy of Arts was re-erected in 2000. Lithuania, sculptures of lions are in bronze at the staircase of the Vytautas the Great War Museum in Kaunas, Lithuania. They were donated by Lithuanian Count Jonas Julius Tiskevicius in 1938 from his Astravas manor in Burzai suburb. Sculptures was made in St. Petersburg's factory commissioned by Lithuanian Count Jonas Tiskevicius in the middle of the 19th century. France, several sculptures at the Terrace des Oranges in Parc de Saint-Cloud, Hort de Seine, Paris. Hungary, statues at Petővásárhely, Hungary. Clothes imitations. Sweden, Slottshonen in bronze, by Bernard Fouquet at the Royal Palace, Stockholm. Belgique, Lion of Waterloo in iron, by Jean-François Van Gogh in Waterloo. India, Fitzgerald Bridge statue in Pune, India. Spain, the Leones del Congreso, Daoizy Villada in bronze at the Congress of Deputies, Madrid. Cast in 1865, installed 1872. Finland, Parolan Legiona on a 4-meter high pedestal in Hattula. erected in 1868 to commemorate the 1863 visit by Alexander II of Russia.